Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario comes to us from one of our favorite sites, Reckoning of the Dead. I've entitled this scenario The Central Tree for the purposes of keeping the plot a secret. Its actual name can be seen in the credits at the end of our show. It was written by Matt Ryan and Noah Lloyd. This is a one-shot, so there is only the one episode. So, having gotten that out of the way, why don't we introduce our characters, our players and our characters. Jeff, why don't you go first?
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff, and I am going to be playing Marcus Linhart. He is a student at Miskatonic University. He's a major in biology with a specialty in zoology. He's a rather small guy, kind of slim, and has a really bookish look. In fact, he is about 5'8" and weighing about 120 pounds soaking wet. He came from a Roman Catholic family, and he has obsessive compulsive disorder, which explains why he does extremely well in his classes and loves to keep things organized.
Cool. Kurt.
Hey, I'm Kurt. I'm playing Dunbar Douglas. Yes, of the Providence Dunbar Douglases. I am currently a PhD student in microbiology at Miskatonic, looking to make a name for myself and get out from under the shadow of my father, a famous doctor.
All right. Jason.
Hi, my name is Jason Melnichuk, and I'll be playing Hudson Walsh. He is a PhD student at Miskatonic University, and he's studying botany with minors in meteorology and biology. He is 5'9", about 140 pounds, not the best-looking gentleman around, but he's not hideous. And he grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York, and he spent a lot of time, he's a full-blooded American, but he spent a lot of time hanging around with Native American tribes in the area, and he has an affinity for their culture. Very American, upstanding citizen. That's about all. Thank you.
Cool. Tim?
Hey, I'm Tim, and I'm playing Lionel Addison of the Addison family of Connecticut. His father was a gardener at the state capitol, and he's always had dreams of doing something similar, so he's decided to pursue studies. He has a background in chemistry, but has come to Miskatonic University to pursue his graduate degree in botany. He tends to be a very strong and unshakable character, and his hands, although he appears very dignified and refined, his hands belie that with calluses and signs of hard work of his younger years.
All right, cool. Josh?
Good evening. My name is Josh. I'll be playing Eric Leifson. Similar to some of my compatriots here, I also am working on my PhD at Miskatonic University. I'm a pretty burly fellow of Norwegian descent, as you can probably tell by the last name. Probably look a little bit out of place. I'm 6 foot, 190 pounds, pretty well built. So maybe not the exact scholarly type that you might expect, but loves his studies nonetheless, loves nature. Animals is his specialization, similar to Marcus, focus in zoology, but also has some botany and biology as well.
Excellent. All right. Let's begin our journey into the darkness. The weather was gloomy. The sky was overcast. There was a good deal of dirty black snow still lurking in the shady places, despite it being early spring. The date is April 6th, 1926, and spring break is drawing to a close. A handful of top graduate students from the Miskatonic Biology Department have been called to a meeting with the head of the department, Dr. Homer Winside. His office is large and comfortable, and his back wall is lined with shelving 7 layers high, displaying all sorts of specimens preserved in formaldehyde, including a full-grown human heart. Gentlemen, you're probably wondering why I called you in this morning. I have a bit of a task for you if you are interested. I was contacted late last night by Mayor Clayton Merrick of the town of Rutland, Massachusetts. It's about 100 miles from here. It also happens to be the the center of Massachusetts. He's called me because he's quite distressed. There is a landmark there, a very large old elm tree that they refer to as the central tree. It marks the spot of geographical, that's what I meant to say, not geological, but geographical center of the state. There's something terribly wrong with it. And he would like me to send some experts, and you guys are my top students. So I thought maybe you'd like to drive over there and take a look at the tree and see if you can diagnose what's wrong with it. What do you say?
Happy to jump in, Professor.
Certainly. Yeah.
I know it's the last couple of days of your spring break, but, you know.
Has there been any further research done into the tree prior to us?
None. Apparently, it started showing odd signs yesterday. And Rutland is a tiny little town, mostly farming. It's a farming community, mostly farms around it. And they don't have many landmarks to speak of. So when their beloved central tree starts to go funky, they get all in a huff and want somebody to come and take a look at it. Well, it's probably just, something attacking it, some insect or something.
What signs is it showing currently?
I have no idea.
Huh.
You'll have to just go and take a look. It's probably nothing, but the college will reimburse you any expenses you might have within reason.
And our primary point of contact is this Mayor Clayton?
Yes, Clayton Merrick is his name. And you'll probably just we have kind of a crudely drawn map once you get there. It should be very easy to find. It's in a field not too far from the junior high school.
Right.
Well, I guess we should get there.
Okay.
Let's take a look, gentlemen.
Well, have fun. Write up a report or something. We'll make sure that you guys get some extra credit on it.
Maybe we can publish.
It would be nice to collaborate.
So with that, I assume you leave the dean's office. Now the question is how do you want to prepare before you?
So one thing I would like to do is just do a little bit of research into this central tree and see if there's any foreknowledge about the tree or where it originated from or anything like that. Anything aberrant to the elm.
Maybe we can look into common arboreal diseases in the area.
Now, those of you who have botany are probably familiar with a lot of diseases that plants and trees have.
Yeah, might as well ask Hudson.
Since you're already graduate students. The one thing that you are, if you do any research at school, about the only thing you find out is that the central tree is an American elm. And that it's probably close to 200 years old.
This specific tree, correct?
That specific tree.
Okay.
And not too uncommon at this point.
No, there are still quite a few elm trees around. Though this is beloved, obviously, by the people as the central tree.
Well, most elms live between 100 to 200 years old. They are a magnet for different fungi, and mushrooms grow on them all the time. They might have just gotten some sort of, let's say, infection into the root system. So that's definitely one thing we should check out.
Yeah, maybe any annual patterns of tree-based bugs, parasites, anything like that.
Well, and elms tend to be protogynous, so perhaps there's an issue with the fertilization, the self-fertilization of the tree happening as well.
That could be possible, yeah. we could also be looking at possible infections like Dunbar said about bugs.
I also want to look up any strange weather patterns in the area. I don't know if they were keeping records at this time, but if it dipped below a certain degree.
Elms are pretty hardy, right, well below freezing. And Massachusetts does dip like that every once in a while. So there's nothing unusual about the weather in the last few years.
In terms of preparation, certainly we would look to bring some soil sampling kits, something to take a look at the bark or the skin of the tree, and suppose any sort of microscope equipment in case we find any traces of bugs or larvae or anything like that. So I don't know if there's a standard set of lab equipment that we could take with us, but
like a field kit.
Yes, something.
Well,
You
can put together whatever you like. You are at Miskatonic, and it's a top of the line school. So,
okay.
I'm going to grab some chemistry testing for the water in the area as well.
That's
good idea. Good idea. I'm going to definitely bring some specimen jars, and like Eric said, some microscopic equipment.
All right, cool. How are you going to get there? Now, some of you might have cars. 1926.
I assume I probably would actually have a car because of his dad and having come from Connecticut anyway, so if you want to ride with.
We'll say you got a fairly nice touring car, which will hold 8 people, so you guys can easily fit in there plus your equipment.
Oh, good. I just would like some space.
Now, you all know each other pretty well from classes and stuff, so you probably also know your eccentricities as well.
Eccentric, what are you talking about?
Rutland lies about 100 miles southwest of Arkham. You pass through a couple of small towns. It's only 100 miles, but it still takes you very nearly 3 hours to get there. The roads are not great. You end up on a lot of side roads, and there's still, like I say, snow in the shady places. The thing is in Massachusetts, it's almost all wooded, so most of the places are shady places. But after about 3 hours of traveling, I will say that you left early in the morning. He got you about 8 o'clock. So it's about 11 o'clock when you pull into a very small town. There's it's large enough to have an elementary school and a middle school, but the high school is a shared high school between Rutland and a couple of other towns in the nearby area. You go through a lot of farmland just before you get to the town. And there's not much more there than a couple of civic buildings, a general store, a gasoline station, and things like that.
What month is it?
It's April. It's April 6th, 1926. Go ahead and do a spot hidden as you pull into the town. It's also spring break, so kids are not in school at the moment. They will be in a couple of days when school resumes.
I got a 12. That would be an extreme success.
I got a 94. That's an extreme failure.
Okay.
I got
26.
So Eric, you got the best one? Eric, as you're looking out, as you're going through the town, for some reason Marcus just can't stop staring at you. He doesn't see anything but you. And you notice out of the side of the car, you notice that there's an obviously the middle school. It's got an odd name. It's Dr. Leroy Doig Junior High School. And there's a big field and a big tree out in the field. That must be it. But there's a whole bunch of people out there. Maybe 40 people out surrounding this tree. Some of them closer, some of them farther back, some of them just looking at it. You can see that as you're pulling to a stop, that it was just starting to get little green leaf buds on it. But now it's just, there's a few on the tips, but it seems like maybe something is affecting the tree. So you're just parking the car now.
Would I have a sense for roughly how large the town was? Is Rutledge a very small town by relative standards? Probably,
maybe, if you count all of the farms all the way around, maybe 200 people at the most.
Okay, so you're talking almost a quarter of the population is around this tree right now.
Right. And I mean, the ones that aren't working at the stores are out on their farms.
Okay. So I'll point that out to my colleagues. I'll just kind of casually say, guys, check that out over there. It looks like it's quite a gathering around this tree.
Where? I can't see past your pectorals.
Does it seem like there's any other researchers here? Any of those Harvard boys?
Nothing.
No.
It's quite strange. Although
there's not like a bunch of cars parked.
I'm pretty excited that there are a bunch of people here enjoying a tree and enjoy nature.
Yeah, but I bet you every one of these people have picked and poked and pushed and stomped on and, not good for the root system, not good for it at all.
So true. So true.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can address the crowd. I'll say, folks, we are here from Miskatonic and looking to secure the scene here. Find out what's going on with the tree.
Okay. As you walk up to the crowd and you say that, some of the people move out of the way, and some of the people, are kind of reluctant. They're staring at this tree, and you also notice there is an officered policeman standing up near the front, also staring at the tree. But he's not doing any kind of crowd control. He's just staring at the tree.
Does anybody want to go talk to the officer?
Yeah, I'll go up to
Not
the
really,
officer. No. Excuse me, sir.
Oh, yeah. Who are you? Are you the... I don't know you. Are you one of the scientists they sent from the university?
I am a graduate student from Miskatonic University studying botany, and I see everybody has a lot of attention to this tree. My name is Lionel Addison. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Sheriff Claude Penchant.
Nice.
What? Probably pronounce it penchant.
Is this a frequent gathering here?
Oh no, they're all looking at the weird stuff on the tree, and as he says that, and you look over at the tree, indeed. It looks like there are a number of broken branches in the middle of the tree, and there are some strange lumps that seem to be all over the tree, like about the size of a grapefruit, here and there on the tree. The bark, it's almost as if there was a swelling of the wood underneath and the bark has been pushed back. They look like sores almost. In fact, there's one lady standing over next to the tree, and she's kind of reaching up and feeling this big lump on the tree.
Ma'am, I would advise you not do that at the current time. Do you guys think this might be Scolitis multistriatus? That's the European elm dark beetle.
Can we make a botany roll?
Yes, go ahead.
17 out of 70.
Very good.
I succeeded. It doesn't matter. He did way better.
Well, so you're going forward and you're looking at these lumps on the tree, and without doing like a cross section or a bisection of them, they have the look of kind of like galls, if you know what that is. A wasp will sting a tree and it will have a swelling, and the swelling is a reaction of the tree to the injury. but the wasp has actually laid a little caterpillar inside of the gall, which is now growing. Except that these look like the tree has reacted in some way to a wound. But this doesn't happen overnight. This just takes a whole season to grow something like this.
How long ago was the first symptoms noticed by the town?
Well, you'll have to ask.
Yeah, I'll ask the policeman. What's else?
He says, I'm not exactly sure, but it certainly wasn't like this last week.
So within the last week.
And about that time, you notice a man coming up, dressed in a suit, and he comes up, and the sheriff sort of looks at you, and he says, "Here's the mayor." And the mayor walks up to you, and he's like, "Clayton Merrick," shakes your hands. He says, "So, what do you think is wrong with our beloved central tree?"
Perhaps we could go somewhere and have a chat. I certainly wouldn't want to upset any of the people here.
Well, we can make whatever. We don't have much here, but we can make what we have available to you. The high school is right here, or the junior high school is right here. They have I guess you'd say, a rudimentary science classroom. Their equipment's not very good, but I see you brought some equipment of your own. You're welcome to use that.
If you could just set us up with a small private space that we have access to that's close to here. And also, if you can maybe keep your town folk away from the tree for now. I don't want them doing any more damage than it's already done to the tree.
Well, Sheriff, make see if you can get them to, form a perimeter, at least get away from it or go home. I don't know why all these people are out here anyway.
And we'd probably be happy to hold a community gathering at a later point to discuss everything that's going on so they're aware.
That would probably be a good idea. Folks, and he sort of pipes up, folks, we've got some experts here to take a look at the tree and make sure everything is okay. So, go back about your business, go on home. There's nothing really important here. We'll set you up over here at the junior high school. You can just walk here across the field. In fact, he sort of starts to walk you that way if you want to go. He'll, get your equipment and we can set you up there. Call Bernice and have her unlock the classroom for us. And as you're walking, he's like, he says, so, do you have any idea, just at the first glance, what it might be that's wrong?
If it's okay, I might hang back a little bit. I just want to kind of observe any of the people who are in the area as they dismiss and such.
Okay.
I just explained to him that there seems to be, those like blister-like things on the tree, but normally they develop over a season. It's too early to tell. We need to run some tests. Do you know when this tree was planted? Do you know, like, the actual age of the tree?
Oh, we don't know for sure, but legend has it it's at least 200 years old. And those sores that are on the tree, that wasn't there like 3 days ago. That wasn't there.
Good to know.
It's within the last 48 to maybe a week old at the most. As
soon as somebody pointed it out to me, I immediately called the university. We don't want this tree dying on us.
That's awful quick for any symptoms to be showing up in a tree.
Is it?
Like Hudson said, it would take at least a season for it to show any sign.
Well, hopefully it's not something that it's had all this time and it's just now showing symptoms. Lionel, do a spot hidden for me.
Sure, 1 second. I got a 30 out of 36.
Okay. You do notice something odd. For the most part, the crowd disperses. But about 10 people, they seem to be exhibiting an odd behavior. they'll look at the tree, and then they'll look around the ground, like they're almost trying to find something. And then they'll look back at the tree, and they'll wander a little bit, and they'll start looking at the ground again. And then they'll go back to look at the tree, and they don't really seem to want to leave.
So this is very disturbing. To my character, he does not like this strange behavior whatsoever. And he's going to speak up to one of the ladies who might be there.
Okay, you look over, and there's a woman. She's dressed like she should be like running the grocery store or something. You know.
Excuse me, miss.
Yeah.
Can I help you find something?
Oh, no. Says something's wrong with the tree, though.
Yeah, can you tell me more about what you've experienced there?
No, nothing. The tree. There's something wrong with the tree. It's distressing. It's our favorite tree.
I see. Well, I would like you to rest easy that the mayor and the people of Miskatonic University are looking into this. So
sure.
If I could have you guys all go home, we'll be happy to have a community gathering soon to discuss what's happening with the tree.
All right.
Yourself and the rest please go. What was your name?
Margaret Rundle.
Margaret. And I'm not going to ask Tom to tell me everybody's name, but I'm going to try to get a list of the names of the people who are there as well.
Yeah, I don't have such.
Come on, right off the bat.
George and John and Mike and Thomas and.
I just gather the names.
Auto-generate 10 NPCs.
Yeah.
So you've told her this, and then what do? You see your friends are now about halfway across.
That's fine. They're competent. They'll be fine. Okay. I'm more concerned about the mayor and their grasp. So I'm going to stand there very strongly and authoritatively and insist that they go. Well,
you notice her, and she kind of says to the others, she says, he wants us to leave. And they're all like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And they sort of start to walk away. And as they're walking away, I mean, it looks like they're fully intending on leaving. And they sort of get, maybe 100 feet away. They're getting ready to cross the road and go back in. And one of them will look down at the ground like this and become completely distracted again and start to wander back.
I'm going to kind of herd them, like kind of follow behind them like cats.
Okay. Well, when you do that, they tend to wander home.
Okay.
They tend to wander away.
I'll be back. Go ahead with them now. Sorry.
All right. So he brings you to the classroom, and you can see that that Lionel is kind of hung behind. But you just go past a fence and down a little hallway, and there's a woman there, and she's opening up the classroom. And it's a standard classroom. There's little lab tables, designed for maybe 2 people each, with a little, gas Bunsen burner things on them. But other than that, the room is neat and clean. There's specimens, and there's the same stuff that you'd expect in a junior high school science class. So what do you do?
Well, I'll relay to the rest of the group what I had seen on the tree, and that, just something that doesn't happen overnight, and then see what their thoughts are and how we should proceed.
Is the mayor still with us?
Yeah, the mayor is with you, and the sheriff is also with you.
Okay. I'm just trying to think if we want to have that conversation around them or with just kind of privately as a group, or if there's anything else we need from those guys.
Well, why don't you do a psychology roll for me?
Okay. That's a 63. That is not going to do it.
Okay. They just seem to be there. Oh, well, the mayor is a mayor. So he's got a political agenda. He's we don't want anything to happen to the tree. So, if you can, please as soon as possible so I can reassure everyone, nothing could be worse than the tree dying while I'm mayor, and I didn't do anything about it. So that's why I called you. And
I guess I'll just kind of ask him sort of at a high level and say, my colleague Hudson referenced, some of the potential things that could be afflicting the tree. Have you noticed anything unusual, changes in the weather patterns, or a heavy infestation of any kind in other parts of the city?
Rained a few days ago. It snowed maybe 2 weeks ago, and some of that's still lingering in the shadows. And
anything specific stand out to you on the day that you first noticed these sores appearing?
No, in fact, I didn't notice it. Obviously, it was Clark Johnson from town. He just noticed it because he tends to go into the grocery store down the street, so he walks right by here.
Is Clark's home or office where he works close? Is it local?
Yeah. In fact, you can see it from here. That pink house over there.
Very good.
This may sound like a strange question, but has there been any other events of note in the town? Anything unusual happen? Maybe even unrelated to anything having to do.
Well, it's spring break. We just don't have a very large population. So people get ready for their planting and everything else. Some people have plowed their fields, some people haven't yet, but that's coming. The ground's still a little hard.
Nothing newsworthy?
No, Strawberry Festival is in next month. No, nothing going on right now. It's kind of a boring little town, just the way I like it.
I'm sure.
This is the most exciting thing that's happened to us in 5 years.
Does Clark Johnson have a farm?
No?
No.
He runs a little, what do you call it? A diner. The only one in town. It's a little place over there. We all call it, he calls it the ranch house. We all call it the roach house.
So there has been an infestation.
No. No, we ain't never seen the roaches, but we teach them about it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, good.
Yeah. So our game plan. Why don't we go ahead and kind of set up our gear in the science classroom where they might have some, like you said, rudimentary equipment, and then we can take our field kits back to the tree and start collecting samples.
He also says to you, he says, now there's no phone right here. He says, but there's one down at the end of the school on the other side down the hallway. So if you need to call me, and he gives you a card with his number on it. And he says, and here, write the sheriff. He writes the sheriff's name and number on here too. So if you need anything, you call us. If you need any supplies, we can take care of you. We'll however busy you are, we'll bring you some food and stuff like that. So you like Coke?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Bring you some Coca-Cola. All right. With that, he leaves, and the sheriff is standing there for a few minutes. And as you see the mayor going, you see somebody come up to the mayor. Looks like a farmer. He's in overalls. Looks a little dusty. This is a farmer. And he says something to the mayor as they pass. And the mayor points to the classroom. And this guy comes up to the classroom, and he says he says something to the sheriff. And all you can really hear is you hear the sheriff say, well, yeah, these guys are from the university. Maybe they can. And he says, sorry, gentlemen. This here is Farmer Patrick O'Neill.
Good afternoon.
He's from one of the local farms. One of the farms just south of here. He says, now I don't want to take you away from what you're working on, but he says that there's something really strange on his farm. Some of his cows are dead, and he doesn't know what killed them.
Oh, terrible.
Oh, that's definitely no good. I'm sorry to hear.
And O'Neill says, well, he says, I don't think it's an animal, but they're in an awful state.
I mean, while we're here, we might as well at least take a look at it.
Yes, at least take a look.
Well, maybe we can divide up as we're getting into the day. Maybe Hudson and Lionel can start with samples of the tree, and the biologist can go check out the cows.
I believe Marcus and I both have a bit of a background in both medicine and zoology, so maybe it's worthwhile for us to go examine them.
Yes, I agree. We should take a look at the cows, see what's ailing them.
Okay. Oh, well, they're dead.
Well, what ailed them then?
The final ailment.
Mr. O'Neill, if you don't mind me asking, about when did you notice were the cows acting strangely, or did you just find them this way?
Found them that way about an hour ago.
Okay, and they were completely fine as of 24 hours ago?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that is indeed strange. So, and you said there were no signs of violence on the animals. They weren't attacked by anything.
I said that I don't think an animal did it. It looks like the damn thing's exploded.
Gotcha. Well, we'll certainly go take a look.
So, three of you go with the sheriff and the farmer, and the other two will stay here with the tree. All right, so let's do the tree first.
So as you're exiting, you see me kind of standing up and brushing myself off. Tom, while they were in there and everybody had kind of left and I was in my private space, I put my ear against the ground just to listen to see if I could hear any critters or vermin doing anything under there.
Go ahead and do a listen roll.
Okay. I'm going to make this. I'm going to get like an extreme success, and then you're going to be like, you hear Earth. No, I failed my listen. I definitely hear.
You hear the train a-coming. No, you don't hear anything. No, but it's a valid point. I mean, you might put your ear up against a tree, too, to hear if you can hear the scritchy scratching.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
Okay. Get it? I probably would. Anyways.
So you're still at the tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm at the tree with them also.
Okay, so Hudson, you've gone back to the tree. Okay, you see Lionel there looking at the tree, looking at the ground, trying to figure something out. So, but none of you have really done anything examining wise. So go ahead. What do you do?
Lionel, did you notice anything yet?
Yeah, so there appeared to be a group of very strange individuals that were hovering around the tree. They seemed to be looking for something, although I don't note anything that would be worthy of noticing in this area. But they wouldn't leave, and they were very reluctant. It seemed like they'd get distracted and have to return back again. I was able to get them to go. I got their names in case anybody wants to question them. But yeah, it's very peculiar, their behavior, and I thought it best for peculiar people to not be here right now. I'm curious, though, is there a stream nearby, or is this an aquifer that's going under here?
There's nothing nearby.
So it must be something underground.
There's probably a creek on the other side of town.
That's very strange. So it must be something underground with water.
I'd like to, one thing I'm curious about is to maybe take a sample of, puncture one of the blisters and see what comes out. If it's a sap or some type of
blood.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought, Kurt, that you went with the biologists.
So did we already do that?
Yeah, you guys are on your way to the farm.
Already gone. Okay, cool.
What do you think, Hudson?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was actually what Dunbar had said, but I wanted to take a sample of whatever's under this blister. But if it's a fungus or it's an infection, let's just be careful. We don't want to spread it to everything in town.
The worst thing that could happen is that these elms get a disease that kill them all off.
Right. I don't want to infect any other, who knows what it could be, but I don't want to affect anything, other plant life in the area. So let's just be careful to contain the blister.
Is there a hardware store nearby?
Sure.
What do you need?
I'm thinking about running over to the hardware store and just grabbing an auger of some sort to try to see if there's water here that we could tap into.
And what do you need the water for?
I want to sample it.
You
Just to
mean
see
in the
if-
ground?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have an auger deep enough to
Mm.
get to the water.
Well,
I'll take some samples of grass and the other things in the area while he samples the tree itself.
Okay.
I'll get my specimen jars and try and maybe cover it with a handkerchief when I bust it. That way, plain white handkerchief to see. That way, I don't want to release any spores.
Okay. The nature of the wounds, the bulbs on the tree, they're very hard. Like, I guess the best way you could really describe them is they look like blisters on the tree. But the wood on them is hard. It's hard like the rest of the tree. You could assess maybe there's something inside of it that's blistering out the tree. However, do a spot hidden for me.
06.
Ooh, nice. When you examine multiple blisters, there's something kind of common. All of them look like the tree was damaged, and the tree is trying to fix the damage. Now, if you chop off a limb of a tree, the tree will actually try to grow over the wound. Takes it years and years to do it. In this case, it looks like something damaged the tree, and now the tree is trying to grow over the damage to close it, and that's causing the blister. But this has happened almost overnight. I mean, within 2 days.
I'll call Lionel over and show him exactly what I found. Maybe I can get his opinion on it.
It's quite peculiar. It's as though there's some sort of advanced rejuvenative property to this. I don't quite understand what's happening here. It'll be interesting to see what the lab work presents when we get this under a microscope.
Now I'm wondering if we should just run some lab work first, or should we cut into it to see if there's some sort of infection or something under it, or just wait and see what we discover first.
Well, I defer to you. You've typically been a little bit more inclined to the sampling side of things, although I am interested in it. If you think it's wise to cut in now, that's fine. I would probably advocate for testing what we have first so that we know what we're getting into.
That's exactly what I'm thinking, but I just figured I would confer. All right, so let's do some sampling, and then we'll wait for the rest of the group to get back. And,
I want you both to do another spot hidden roll.
62.
You too, Tim. Tim, are you stuck? Tim is stuck. Hudson, was that a pass?
No, I missed it by 2 points.
Okay. We'll see what Lionel says when he gets back.
He's lost in space and time.
Now he's just staring at the tree.
Delayed one turn.
All right. We'll just do the other three and we'll come back to you in a second. Okay. So the other three, you travel not too far, maybe a mile down the road, and you come to the O'Neill farm. You park your car. Farmer O'Neill parks his truck. The sheriff and he both get out. And the farmer says, it's just a typical farm. But he's got fields and he's got cattle. Not too many head, though. So he takes you around the stockyard, and you're heading out. And he says, come on out here in the field. And when you get out there, you notice a smell. And it's kind of rotten, but it's not an animal rotten. It's like rotten vegetables. It's a very strange smell, very unpleasant. But as you get out there, you can see that there are dead cows lying on the ground, 8 of them in all. And it looks like from about here on their chest down to their stomachs. They have burst open. It's almost like they popped, and their guts and intestines are on the ground. There's flies. There's really bad smell.
How long have these cows been dead for?
Just since yesterday, or since today.
Are these all the animals that you have on your property, or is this the entirety of your herd?
He says, well, no, as soon as I saw these, I got the rest of my herd corralled up over there.
Okay, so it was
Good idea.
Just these ones in this area.
Was there any signs that the cows were sick or acting strangely?
None at all. This morning, really early, I let them out into the field, and a little while later, I came out here, and this is what I found.
Has it been particularly hot since yesterday?
No, it's April. It's freaking cold.
I'll look at Marcus and Dunbar and kind of casually ask them, you don't know of any predator animal that attacks prey in this manner, do you?
Predators out here. We're in the middle of Massachusetts. You're not going to find much. Maybe maybe some wild dogs or something that have gotten out of there, but not like this. Not 8 cows. Not a cow. I mean, maybe a sheep or something, but not a cow.
And certainly nothing that would make them explode.
And they don't. And I suppose we'll go up and investigate in a second. So I'll hold my question.
Okay.
Any changes to their diet? You're feeding them anything?
No. We're right now, this time of year, we're feeding them mostly hay and alfalfa, and we mix the alfalfa so they don't get nitrogen poisoning.
That's good. But they've not been dead long enough to have a gastric discharge that will cause them to explode like that. Normally it takes a few days, and of course hot weather would accelerate the process, but
yeah, it hasn't gotten above 60.
yeah, it should be like a few days before they pop, for lack of a better word.
Bloat, yeah.
Well, I will go ahead and toss on a pair of gloves and go investigate the wounds.
Okay.
Yeah, let's take some samples to take back to the microscope, or we can, if we have our field glass here, we can maybe check it out here.
You definitely need to get samples of the blood and perhaps bits of internal organs.
Well,
okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the first thing I would investigate for would be any sort of tooth or claw marks, just to confirm that the animals were indeed not attacked. They don't look like they've been shredded or cut or thrashed or anything of that nature.
You don't notice any kind of claw or it's not that it doesn't look like that kind of tearing. It literally looks like they blew up from the inside.
Okay.
They're almost like,
So I'll say to Marcus, Marcus, this does appear to be more consistent with your theory about potential internal suffering rather than some sort of external predator.
Well, what I would like to do is take a look at the gastrointestinal tract and see what they've been eating within the last 48 hours. Cows tend to have a very slow digestive system. They have to put it through multiple stomachs. So should be some evidence.
Do a spot hidden for me, Marcus.
Okay. 30 out of 70. So that's good success.
Okay. One thing you notice is it seems to be the first and or second stomach that have exploded. The intestines don't seem to be affected at all. But the force of the explosion looks like it literally blasted out the ribs and burst the cow open.
Well, that means just the start of the digestion, so They did eat recently. I am going to see if there's any samples I can pick up from the inside, get them in a specimen jar, and then do some testing when we get back to the school.
Okay.
Well, if you share that with us, I'll ask. This will sound crazy, but if there's no signs of attack, then the logical answer would be disease. But based on what you're telling us about the stomach burst patterns, could they have eaten something alive, some type of small animal or a large insect that actually clawed its way out from the inside?
Well,
It's entirely possible. It's parasitic infection, possibly. Who knows?
This is certainly one of the most violent wounds I've ever seen on an animal.
Very. And since exterior damage is out of the question with what you saw, Leifson, then we are stuck with internal. So the closest thing I can come up with is anything internal, anything they've possibly eaten within a couple of days, possibly maybe something in the soil. We might want to bring some of the soil samples back for the botanists.
It's a wonderful recommendation. As the farmer had mentioned, clearly only the animals in this area were affected, so perhaps there is some sort of environmental trigger.
Eric, do a spot hidden for me. I assume all three of you are examining the cows.
Does anyone have a camera?
Yeah.
What was that?
At this day and age, no. Just with
Maybe
my credit rating.
I'll take a sketch.
Did you pass, Eric?
I got a 56 out of 50, but if you'd be willing to let me do it, I'm happy to burn some luck points to get it.
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead and do that.
You notice, since there's plenty of cows to go around, so to speak, you're looking at your own cow. There seems to be some sort of an odd residue dripping out of the cow's stomach. Something that looks weird.
What color or consistency is it?
It's got an odd color to it. It's almost purple. Grayish purple.
I will take out a specimen or sample kit and try and just collect some of the liquid in a vial.
Okay. Yeah, it's fairly easy to do.
Okay.
You've never seen anything that looks like this before. And you definitely have never seen bodily juices that look like this.
Okay. And I'll call Marcus and Dunbar over and just, say, gentlemen, I'm not familiar with a liquid of this type, certainly not internal to an animal. It's got almost a violet hue to it.
Something of that color. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to have to do some chemical tests on that.
Is it viscous?
Yes. If you were to hazard a guess, you'd almost think that the animal was eating blueberries, lots of them, to dye the color like this. But there ain't no blueberries anywhere around here.
Nowhere around.
No. And the stuff smells. It's got that rotten vegetable smell.
So I'll kind of lean over the vial, and I think in science you're supposed to waft, right? So I will waft some of the scent my way and go, well, this certainly explains some of this horrid odor around us.
It's very putrid smelling.
Maybe they were poisoned. I wonder if the farmer has any enemies.
All right, and on that note, we'll leave it with you and go back to these two.
Hey, sorry about my computer.
You didn't miss anything. We just immediately jumped to the others. All right.
I did make the spot hidden check. Surprise, surprise.
You did. Okay. So as you and Hudson are standing under the tree, Lionel, I did that because we don't have a smell hidden, but you suddenly smell this awful rotten vegetable sort of smell. Like an old garbage can or something. And
if I put it out, can he smell it?
Hudson doesn't smell it, but the wind's not really blowing.
You okay there, Lionel?
Oh, it smells so awful. It smells like the compost heap.
When Hudson, if you come near him, you can smell it. There is a smell.
Ooh, I just caught it. Not good.
And you wanted to cut into this tree? Whew.
Where's it coming from?
Well, it just seems to be around the tree. You don't know exactly where it's coming from.
Probably those weird villagers.
I'll walk back a little bit and then come back in. Is it stronger near the tree or?
There is a light breeze blowing. Which way do you walk from the tree? Do you walk so that the wind is blowing towards you from the tree or away from you from the tree, or?
I was just walking a few feet away, but I mean.
Well, when you notice that if you walk downwind from the tree, yes, you can smell it. If you walk upwind from the tree, you don't smell anything at all.
And I have woodland survival of 60, so maybe I would be able to.
You survive your walk.
It's definitely coming from the vicinity of the tree.
Okay, it's not like, coming in from the hills or.
Mm-mm.
Perhaps we should take a bit of a biopsy of the tree as well, like you had suggested earlier.
That's what I'm thinking now
Just
too.
tip of a branch or something.
Okay.
Let's take a bark sample, foliage sample, and maybe we'll actually crack into one of these blisters. I think we might have to do it. But
now I'm going to clip off the end of one of the branches as well, just to take a look at the cross section.
Okay. Do you clip off one of the dry branches or one of the green branches?
I'm definitely, because I feel like the brown branches are not getting the cycling of the system, so I'm going to cut a little bit of the green branch.
Okay. All right. You take that sample. What else?
I'm going to go over to one of the blisters, but I'm going to put my kerchief up, my handkerchief around my face, and then get the sample bottle with my knife and just kind of, I don't want to damage the tree, but I need to know what's underneath there. If this putrid smell's coming out of it.
Well, as I say, that the tree, the blisters are somewhat hard. Once you sort of get through the outer shell of them, the wood underneath has turned kind of spongy, which would be kind of consistent with a gall, So once you get past that outer thing, you can take almost like a wedge cut out of one of the things, and go ahead and do a spot hidden for me on that one.
33. Pass.
Okay. You notice that there does seem to be some sort of purplish liquid. It's not a lot of it, but it's like coloring the sap that's in this blister.
I want to take a secondary vial and get some of that liquid or purplish sap and put it in and close it up, and then replace a bit of bark that I took off of the tree. Pack it back in.
And you also notice that this is the stuff that smells.
I tossed the vial over to Lionel to see what. Hey, take a look at that.
I wasn't ready for that.
Catch.
I kind of fumble a little bit and then catch it.
Well, I don't mean from the top of the tree. Take a look at this.
So yeah, I'm gonna take a look at it, and my entire expression is just going to be interesting, and then I'm gonna kind of blindly and say, I'm gonna blindly walk towards the school again, and I'm just gonna say, "This is why I like you, Hudson," and just keep walking.
When you turn and you start walking towards the school, you notice once again a few people have returned. On the periphery over here, they're out in the field looking towards the tree and occasionally looking at the ground and looking back at the tree.
Hudson, it's these people again.
They're ways away from you, and they're not coming closer, but
it's very peculiar.
These are the same people that you had to shoo away from here?
Can I tell?
Yeah, pretty much. They're still dressed in the same clothes they were.
Yeah, that's Margaret and the gang.
Well, I don't know. If the mayor's so concerned about getting reelected, maybe we could have him tell the people if they're hanging around the tree too much, they might be able to bring whatever is destroying that back to their property. Maybe we could scare them off for a little while and then just tell them there's nothing to worry about when we figure it out. But just a little bit of damage control for now to scare the people away.
I mean, it could be, but there could be something more nefarious happening here. Like, perhaps they're causing the damage to this tree directly, and perhaps they don't have interest.
They don't seem to be doing anything, except...
Yeah, that's how they all are, those weirdos.
In part, they just look curious, but they seem to be displaying similar behaviors amongst them. All right, let's jump back to the other ones.
Yeah.
All right, you guys were looking to see if there's some sort of environmental cause of what's going on with the cows. Go ahead and do a spot hidden, all three of you.
70.
Good. I got a 44 out of 70.
Okay. You look over as you're working on this, looking at the cows. You notice about 30 feet away in the field. Now, this is a field that hasn't been plowed. There's basically, ankle-high brown weeds going in all directions. You notice a place where the field looks like it's maybe been scorched by something. You didn't really notice it before because the ground is kind of, brown, but there definitely looks like a place over there that something happened. The ones who noticed, who passed.
Where did...
See the field over there?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Did lightning strike or something?
Did he burn the field? Did we burn brush over there?
Well, it looks fairly local and not very big. I'd say the grass is probably about knee high, the weeds and stuff.
And when you say scorched, is it look burned or is it just brown compared to the...
It's darker colored. There's little light snow on things, so it's kind of hard to tell from this distance.
Let's take a look, guys.
Yeah, let's take a look, see what the soil has to say.
The farmer tells you now that he's got work to do. So if you find something out, if you figure something out, tell him.
You're gonna need to burn these cows.
All right.
It would just be in your best interest to make sure that the infection doesn't go to any other cows.
That sounds like a great idea.
If your dogs come eating on them.
Yeah, we'll keep the dogs away. All right. So what are you guys going to do?
We're going to take a walk over by the scorch and just get a closer look.
Okay.
Yeah, take a peek.
As you get over to this area, it's an irregular sort of shape. It definitely looks like the grass was burned. Maybe just a small brush fire. There's a lot of white ash on the ground, not just snow. And just some areas that look like they got blasted with something.
You said the pattern is irregular?
The shape of the burn area is kind of irregular.
Okay.
It looks like it wasn't much of a fire and it just more or less burned itself out quickly. What do you guys want to do?
Well, let's check the center of the blast, I suppose. See what...
Maybe a meteorite, perhaps?
It's heavenly bodies coming to Earth happens.
There's no crater. So as you're walking around, I would like you all to do a luck roll.
Woohoo, I love my high luck. But not today, 99 out of 80.
That was a 9. I'm feeling lucky, apparently.
I pass.
Okay. Is the 9 the best roll?
I got a 3.
Oh, Kurt. Okay.
Nice.
So as you're walking around, we'll get back to that in a second. I'd like you to do a spot hidden roll.
That is a fail.
The other two too.
Okay.
Did anybody pass it?
I didn't even know I need to roll. That was the ones that passed the luck check.
59. I missed it.
50 out of 70.
Nice.
Okay. Who got the best roll? We'll just say Marcus because that's the easy one. Marcus, you look over on the ground and you notice something kind of in the bushes, and it looks like this.
Whoa.
It's it's just about this big. I mean, it's here. I gotta just about like this. How much bigger than that?
Eric or Dunbar, do either of you have any more gloves? I used mine on the cows.
Just keep an extra pair on me, and I'll hand it over.
Put on the gloves and gently reach out and carefully bring what looks like a canister out.
It definitely has some sort of residue on the inside, kind of a whitish powder. And you can smell gasoline.
This smells like gasoline, and we're definitely going to need to look at this residue.
Well, that could certainly, if there's an accelerant, that could certainly explain some of the scorch marks.
Does this look like it could have fell off of an aircraft?
Doesn't look like an aircraft part. It's made out of probably brass. It's been welded into shape. It's got openings on the end.
Is the residue consistent with what we just found inside the cows?
No.
Okay,
no.
It's different.
Yeah, that stuff was purple. This stuff's white, but maybe under certain conditions it could turn purple.
Maybe the farmer would know what it is. Maybe it came off of a piece of machinery or something he built.
Well, back to what you were suggesting earlier, Dunbar. If he has enemies, this could have been how they planted all this.
Maybe there was poison in here.
If any of you is at all familiar with farm animals, this doesn't look like any piece of equipment that you've ever seen on a tractor or a combine or anything like that.
Which is why I'm thinking somebody planted this.
It also looks handmade.
Another reason why I think somebody planted this.
Like welded together, shaped and welded together. It also looks like it's exploded. It's torn up pretty badly. It also looks new. It doesn't look like it was laying there for any length of time.
Well, I would suggest that we take samples from this area as well and maybe do a comparison to what was bothering the cows and see if we can't draw some sort of correlation between the two.
Could take a look around too and see if there's maybe any other parts like this that we haven't seen yet.
Okay.
Agreed.
Go ahead and do a spot hidden, guys.
Spot the hidden. 95 out of 70. I totally failed. 95.
Didn't find anything.
Josh, anything?
No, not for me.
Yeah, you look around, you don't see anything else in the field. But Kurt, as you are walking along, you kind of left the burned area and you're looking around in the surrounding area. And you suddenly trip on something and fall. Go ahead and do a dex roll. See if you get any damage.
Yeah, passed.
All right. So you fall, but you don't hurt yourself. And as you look down at your feet, at first you think that you must have tripped over a stone in the field. except that what you're looking at has an odd texture to it. And the closest thing that comes into your head is a starfish, only it's about 2 feet across, and it's in the high grass, so you don't really notice it, but it's got a strange bumpy texture to it, and it looks very much like an echinoderm, like a starfish laying there on the ground, and it's got purple goo on it, and it smells really bad.
Is the grass I'm walking through? I tripped on it. Is it part of the scorch?
No, it's just outside the scorch area.
Okay. Maybe I can pick up a stick and I'll call the fellows over. Hey guys, come check this out. What I found.
Well, there's no sticks in the field.
No. Maybe I could just kind of. I don't want to damage it, but maybe try to just prod at it with my foot. See if it.
Well, it's extremely strange looking. It's got a purple gray color to it. It's very much starfish-like. The top of the starfish, the center of the starfish, is all torn up. It's definitely made out of something.
Is it organic?
Yeah, definitely it looks organic, unless it's some really weird kind of mushroom, but you've never seen anything like it. The ends of the starfish seem to end in little ball-shaped things, and it seems to be covered with a kind of, I don't know, cilia, like little hairs, but they're not hairs.
Is it any part of it moving?
No.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, never. Is the purple goo consistent with either what we found? Yeah, that's what was in the cows. Okay. It appears to be covered in the same material that we just discovered.
And it's very badly damaged.
Badly damaged or not, we're definitely going to need to take it to the little lab that we made.
Is it small enough that we could actually fit it in a jar? Or I guess I should just ask roughly how big.
It's about 2 feet across.
Oh my God.
It's a big thing that he tripped over.
Anybody got a sack?
Yeah, we'll have to get a bag, maybe like a grain bag or something like that from the farmer. Mystery.
Get some sort of rucksack or something.
I'd like y'all to do a sanity roll. Because of your biology background, it's baffled. It's just completely baffled you.
It is a fail. I am deeply disturbed.
94. I am.
We all rolled the 90s.
This thing's freaking me out.
If you passed 1d3, if you failed, we'll say 1d3 plus 2.
Okay, here we go.
I took 4 damage.
Okay.
Why did I not grab my Warhammer bag? We've had a lot of D6s to grab.
I take 3.
Oh, God. I took 5.
Okay. Marcus. Dunbar and Eric, you both are quite shaken, because the longer you look at this thing, the more you realize this is not some fucking starfish out in the middle of Massachusetts. It's just not possible. And the more you think about it, the more it really irritates you. Marcus, you have OCD. You begin like pacing back and forth again, and your brain is just reeling, and you just start backing away. You're probably at this point thinking, maybe I could get in the car and just head on back home. And what the hell is it? So
this has no organ. This is not the way things are supposed to. This is not how it congeals. I don't get. Can I get in the truck?
Pull yourself together, man.
No.
Yes, it's weird, but think about the paper we're going to write from this.
Screw the paper. You can have the extra credit this time. No.
I mean, this mystery is turning into a real discovery.
Dunbar, why don't you do a psychology roll, and if you succeed, you actually can get Marcus to not run away.
I'm going to the car. I hope you guys have the key. Otherwise, I'm driving home.
Well, who was driving? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Lionel's car. Of course, the next best thing, Marcus, would be to go back to the classroom.
Even better.
Where you can stare at all the specimens.
Yes. The stuff that makes sense. The stuff that has 4 chambered hearts.
I think I'm much larger than Marcus, so I'll kind of walk over and just kind of grab him and just kind of pat him on the back and hold on to him and be like, it's going to be okay. It's freaking me out too, but
starts walking away, just grabs me, lifts me, goes, nope, you're over here.
Well, Hudson, why don't you take Marcus back to the car and help him calm down? I'll go see if I can find a sack big enough to put this thing in, and then we can take it all back to the classroom.
You focus on the sack. We'll head back.
All right. So we'll leave it with you guys there, and we'll jump back to the other two. All right. You guys are. You said you headed over to the classroom.
Yeah.
Correct.
With your samples. All right. So do your botany rolls.
Hey, we got that.
37 out of 70.
And Tim?
47 out of 65.
Okay. So you both start looking. Now, one of you has a rather nice microscope that you brought with you, and the other one has the one from the classroom, which isn't okay, but it's got the little mirror on the bottom of it, so you have to get a light source. And
yeah, I have the classroom one, clearly. I'll let Hudson have it because he's always been the better student than I have been.
The first thing you notice is that the tissue from the tree is showing rather rapid growth. The cells are dividing rather quickly. But there's something wrong with the cells. The cells seem to have something going on inside them that's purple. There's some of this purple substance is inside them, and it's causing them to mutate and grow very quickly.
Now, is there any other tests I can run to determine what this is?
Chemical analysis. It's some sort of bizarre compound. You've never seen anything like it before.
I do have a significant amount of chemistry. I have relatively high level chemistry.
Well, go ahead. Roll chemistry if you want to.
Nope, I failed.
Yeah. It defies. You've never seen a chemical compound do anything like this. You also notice that it's not completely repairing. The cells are growing so fast they're actually killing each other. They're growing so fast that they're ripping themselves apart.
Oh wow!
Some of them.
Well, I'll explain what I see to Lionel, and then I would like to confer with the other scientists to show them that some of them might have more biology or chemistry also to take a look, because this is something I've never read about or seen firsthand.
The amount of meiosis that's occurring seems almost synonymous with some sort of some form of cancer of some sort.
But it's also healing, so if this can be harnessed, we might rewrite the history books here if we can put a handle on this.
It's like you just lit a match under him. He's like, it is. This is fantastic. We need to get the biologists in here right away.
We need to tell President Coolidge about this. This could be revolutionary.
We need to not tell Professor right away. We need to get this written and submitted before Professor gets his hands on this, because he'll take it for himself. This is it. This is our breakthrough. Where are the biologists?
About that time, the biologists show up.
Speak of the devils.
And Eric and Marcus show up first, and Marcus seems very agitated when he walks in the classroom. Dunbar is still not there.
This is not right. This is not right at all. It doesn't have any order. It doesn't have any. It's non-Euclidean. It's completely fucked. We're completely fucked. That's what it is.
Oh,
You okay there, Marcus?
No, I'm totally not. I'm really not. I have a huge headache, and I'm trying to figure out what this starfish thing is. And
Snap out of it, man! I slap him across the face.
I'll kind of guide him to guide him.
Well, it's not. He's not mean to be violent. It's just like a hysteria. Like, whoa, we are on a breakthrough. This is huge. The president is going to have us to the White House. Talk to Hudson.
the president's going to have us executed.
You guys have to take a look at this. Look into this microscope. This is groundbreaking to say the least.
Stunning. It's Hudson's discovery.
As long as it's not the damn starfish.
Well, take a look. Look at the way the rapid regrowth of these cells. They're reproducing so fast they're actually destroying themselves. If we could harness this, we could heal wounds. We could. I'm speechless.
Where did you get this material?
This was inside the tree. Look at this purple color. I've never seen anything.
I'm not looking anymore. Purple stuff. Purple stuff came from the starfish.
Oh, Marcus.
What's starfish? What are you talking about?
Dunbar will tell you.
We actually found a very similar substance out when we investigated the cows.
Dunbar comes walking in with a big sack on his shoulder.
Oh, God. What's that, Dunbar?
That's a starfish.
Easy,
is this a whole source of this amazing material? Get it out here. Put it on the table.
Well, I wouldn't be so excited about it just yet. Your cells may be healing the tree. Ours caused the cows to explode.
But they're also destroying. It's like a weird relationship between them. They're lysing and then recompiling. It's the most fascinating thing you've ever seen. The cell walls are breaking and then reforming.
Prepare yourselves, gentlemen, and I'll kind of put the bag down and just very carefully try to pull the sides of the bag down.
No. I'm going to the opposite side of the room. No,
Marcus, could you go outside and make sure that those weirdos aren't by the tree anymore?
Good idea. As long as I'm not anywhere near that damn starfish, I'm fine.
As you can see, Marcus was very shaken up by what's in this bag.
About that time, Marcus, you can see out the windows that there are now a couple of people walking around the tree. The sheriff comes in and he says, "Gentlemen," he says, how's everything going?
It's going.
Well, we think we might have found the lead into what might be happening.
Oh, fantastic.
We're not at liberty to discuss it yet, though. We're currently looking into it.
Well, would you mind joining me across the street at the sheriff's office?
Actually, we're really enmeshed in our microscopes now.
You can't. You just indulge me for a few minutes.
I'll go join him.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Hudson, do you want to stay? Check this out with maybe Dunbar.
Well, I'll have them. I'll have them bring you over some sandwiches then. But
one of us should stay with the samples.
Yeah, we should stay with the samples.
Yeah,
Okay.
You stay with the samples. I'll go with that way.
I'll volunteer to go with Marcus and the officer and go see what's going on.
So, Sheriff Pinchant takes you across the street, and it's a nice little sheriff's office. There's one jail cell, and it's empty, and you can see that what he's had them do is set out like an array of sandwiches and Coke and stuff for you to eat. He says, I don't know if you're planning on staying overnight, but if you need to, there's a couple of rooms available over here at the inn.
It's That's very kind of you, Sheriff. But did you bring us over here just to have a couple sandwiches, or is
Well,
there
I
something
just,
else?
wanted to kind of get an update. The mayor's been driving me crazy.
Oh, I
Um,
can
but
understand
I
it.
thought, you need to eat something, and you need to keep your health. Anything going on? Anything that I should know about, or
Got some
is
very
this
evil
is this a
starfish.
is this a health a starfish?
Well,
Yes, some sort of weird starfish thing that may have caused the couch to explode, and they're not good.
you'll have to forgive my colleague, and I'll hand him a sandwich and go. Oh,
Well, is this something that that I need to warn the people about, or I mean, we don't want to cause a panic here.
no, it's nothing like that.
Yes.
As some of my colleagues had mentioned, we're still very early in on our research and still trying to determine the nature of what's taking place.
Marcus,
Mm-hmm.
you're a little distressed that they just sort of dismissed you like that, and you've got OCD and you're nervous about things, and you look over on the table and you notice newspaper from a couple of days ago, and you figure, maybe I'll just take a look at this, and maybe I can focus on it and concentrate, and then I can pull myself together. And on the front page, it's the New York Times. This is Massachusetts, but people read the New York Times because there ain't no newspaper out here. And this is right on the front of the newspaper.
Meteor-like rocket startles Worcester. Clark professor's test of new propellant to explore air strata brings police to scene. Worcester, Massachusetts, April 2nd, 1926. A rocket designed by Professor Robert H. Goddard of Clark University in his experiments to explore the upper air strata was sent through the air in an isolated part of Worcester this afternoon like a flaming meteor, with a roar heard for 2 miles around. The noise was such that residents called police headquarters saying that an airplane was shooting along on fire. 2 police ambulances scoured the area looking for victims, and an airplane left Grafton Airport to aid the search. It was later learned that the experimental launch and the public has since been warned of possible future tests in the coming weeks. The experiments marked the climax of 17 years' work by Professor Goddard to design a projectile that can penetrate the upper air regions. Professor Goddard has the financial backing of the Smithsonian Institution, oh my gosh, as well as Clark University.
Worcester, which is how people who live there pronounce it, isn't very far away. Maybe 30 miles from where you are.
Marcus, what are you looking at over there?
It's an article. Remember that canister that we found out, that I found actually out in the field?
Certainly.
Look at this. And I
You show him the
look at
picture.
him and point at him.
I'll take it and I'll quickly scan the article and go, well, seems absolutely worth following up on. Who is this Professor Robert Goddard?
Yeah, Goddard. It says he's a professor at Clark.
And I'll look at the officer and say, just kind of casually, about how far down the road is the neighboring town?
The neighboring town?
Or what was it?
Worcester?
Clark? Or Worcester, I apologize.
Worcester's about 30 miles from here. Worcester's a major city. That's like Boston.
Yeah, it's a pretty big
Smaller
place.
than Boston, but...
Well, it appears here that the last time the professor launched the rocket was on April 2nd, just a few days ago, shortly before you guys started experiencing some of this weird behavior.
Oh, you're talking about that Goddard fella.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that ain't the last one. I think that he's been launching them off every other day.
Really? So there could be more in the area.
Well, I would be surprised if anything like that came in our direction. But I suppose. Why? Did you find something?
Yeah. We found a canister. Actually, I found a canister. It was out in the field with the farmer. It might have actually brought the starfish I was talking about.
Well, we certainly did find evidence of some scorched soil. So we think that perhaps maybe one of these rockets landed a bit closer than we would have liked. So certainly worth investigating further.
Well, that'd be wild.
I think it's best that we get back to our colleagues and discuss these matters with them. Marcus, come with me.
Before you can leave, though, the phone rings, and he's just like, just a moment, gentlemen. And he picks up the phone, and he's like, what's the problem? And he looks up at you and he says, it's Becky Benson, Farmer Benson's little girl.
Yeah.
And you can hear her voice. You know, the phones are kind of loud back then. You can hear her voice, and she says, something's wrong with Papa. And he says, well, what's wrong? And she says, please, can you come? And all of a sudden the phone goes dead.
That's
He's like, I don't know what that's all about. He says, I better get over there and check it out. Go ahead and well, you don't really need a spot hidden. You guys look around the room and you notice that, you've got the jail cell, you've got his desk, you got that. You got a cabinet over there with shotguns and rifles and stuff in it.
I'll look at the officer and just make mention to him. It sounded like that little girl was in trouble.
It certainly did. I think we need to go over there. Well, I need to go over there if you guys want to come with me. I hope this isn't related to all this stuff that's going on.
Well, officer, I hate to cause too much alarm, but do you think it makes sense to arm ourselves before heading over? There's been some awfully strange happenings going on lately.
That certainly sounded very strange. Let's head on back towards your comrades back at the place. And
do we have to?
By now, Marcus, you're starting to pull yourself together. I didn't give you that mental damage.
Crazy.
All right. Anyways, he says, well, let's head on back to your people, and then I'll head out and see what's going on the farm, unless you guys want to come with me.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna head back then and meet back up with our colleagues then.
Okay. Yeah, we all go back to the classroom across the street.
And I'm leering over this thing, not knowing where to even start because I have nothing to do with biology. I'm very curious.
Yeah, Dunbar was about to show us what was in the sack, so I was very interested in looking at that.
Oh yeah, by now he's probably pulled that thing out and.
Yeah, we've got it out on the table and taken some slides.
It's very, very, very strange.
Does it have a similar marker when you're looking at it under the microscope?
Well, there's not really any way to put it under the microscope without taking a sample of some sort.
Oh, I thought we just said we were taking samples.
Oh, okay. You find it almost impossible to cut. Although it's obviously been ripped off of something. This is a part of something much larger.
Gentlemen, I'd like to attempt an experiment. Is anyone interested?
Absolutely.
My hypothesis is, given the nature of the way these cells are dividing and lysing and then repairing themselves, that perhaps there might be some sort of interaction if we were to get it near other aspects of the substance. I'd love to see the vial of stuff that we produce and see how it interacts with this creature, if it attempts to bind with it or if it repels or whatever the case may be.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
So yeah, I'll attempt to do that. I will attempt to do a control setting where I just use normal liquid or some sort of a normal sap or something. I don't know.
Okay.
And compare it.
Nothing in particular seems to happen. It doesn't seem to be. It's definitely that the starfish thing is the source of the liquid, but when you do put the liquid on the thing, nothing particular happens. It already has some stuff on it.
Would we like to attempt to take this to the tree and see if there's any interaction, or is this barking? Is this barking up the wrong tree?
Well, it's kind of squishy.
Dunbar, where did you say you found this?
We found it out in the farmer's field near the rocket. I've got a hypothesis of my own, fellas, and that's what if the rocket, in coming down, hit some type of larger creature, and this was just part of it, and somehow, and the liquid that we're seeing from the cows and from the tree is somehow connected to this creature's, almost like it's blood that's poisoning whatever it comes into contact with, which means we need to be very careful.
So can we assume then that that we've kind of caught them up to speed about the article and the professor and all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps we should take a visit to the professor.
All of a sudden, Margaret appears at the door of the classroom.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
And she suddenly seems intensely interested in the starfish thing.
Margaret, hello, Margaret. How are you? I kind of step between her and the starfish.
She's not answering you, but she's trying to see the starfish thing. So when you step in front of her, she just moves out of the way.
If I still have hold of some of the vial, if I hold it out towards her, what does she do?
Do a luck roll.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Terrific. All right, let's see what. Yes, I got exactly half, so a hard success.
Okay. She suddenly lunges forward and tries to grab the vial out of your hand, but she doesn't succeed. You've still got a hold of it, but she says, "I have to take this. I have to take it now."
To where? Let's go. I will follow you.
I have to take it. I have to get the pieces.
Let's go look. Here, I'll come with.
So you give it to her?
No, I'm just going to walk with her.
Oh no, she wants she wants the starfish thing too.
Margaret, now look, little lady. This is not your place to be looking into this sort of stuff. I will carry this vial. You don't have to trouble your dainty little hands with this.
She's not listening to you. She's starting to struggle.
He's still talking, and we're going to continue. He's going to. You're going to need a grapple, but not forcibly move her away.
You're going to need a grapple roll at this point.
You're damn right I am.
I'm going to assist on that.
Hang on, I took some brawling. Yeah, I have a 62% brawl.
Okay.
Should I roll also? I'm going to help him out.
Sure.
I got a 39.
Okay. You're managing to restrain her, but the more you try to restrain her, the more she's trying to get to the starfish thing. I have to get it. I'm
going to cover it up with the bag.
Okay. She's not.
Can I intimidate her down? Can I intimidate
her? The sheriff is going to try to stop her. Margaret, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? And the sheriff tries to assist you in restraining her, and she bites the sheriff's hand.
Oh.
And he pulls away. And she's got this glazed look on her eyes.
Here's what I think, guys. We need to figure out what the what the root of this is, and we need to give her this vial and follow her and see where she goes. It may not be great on the short term, but it's very interesting to see what happens here.
She wants it all, though, right? She wants the starfish. She wants the vial. She wants basically everything we've collected at this point.
Apparently, yeah.
Clearly, she's crazy.
She is insane, but we need to see where this insanity takes us.
I'm in for that. Let's give it to her and see what happens.
I'm not for that.
Marcus is not down.
I may be
Lionel has it in
less
his hands,
insane
so.
now, but I don't want her handling the starfish.
Marcus, how about you stay behind and check out the tree and watch what's happening with the tree?
You guys don't have time to discuss all of this at this moment.
Yeah, I know. Let's give it to her.
You
I
just
can give
let
it to her.
go, Lionel?
I'm sorry, what?
Lionel, do you just let it go then? She's got a hold of it and you've got a hold of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna let go and follow her.
The second you let go of it, she looks at it for just a moment and then she
Chucks
puts it
it.
in her mouth.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh God!
The
And-
vial?
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I
did
do?
you let her do that?
She immediately
I took-
crunches down on the
I take a
glass,
notebook out and start writing.
and it shatters. And
Sheriff.
now she's got the purple stuff here. And the sheriff is like, what the hell? Like this.
Put her in handcuffs.
Yeah, restrain her.
She's clearly insane.
So he tries to do that. He tries to put her in handcuffs, and now she's just like screeching for the thing. She's not talking anymore. Now she's just trying to get to it.
Is there anything we could like kind of club her in the head with and knock her out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that usually brain damages people in real
Yeah, I'm
life.
not for that. But let's just try to restrain her.
the
Everybody,
sheriff- The
Go
sheriff
ahead.
restrains her.
There is a small cell across the street.
Yeah.
Well, at the moment, he restrains her in a chair, and I'd like you all to do a spot hidden roll, and the one with the best one's going to win.
I don't think 94 is going to cut it.
89
80.
out of 36.
32 out of 70.
21.
80, I felt.
Okay, so Dunbar, you got the best one.
Yeah.
The rest of you are watching all this. The rest of you are all this. Dunbar, you look up and look out the window, and you can see two more people are heading towards the school
Guys, I think
from the tree.
I think we better barricade the door.
This is too
What
much.
are you talking about?
The rest of the town's coming.
What?
And with that, the sheriff says, "Oh my God, Becky!
Who's Becky?
Becky
Oh, shit.
Benson. She called us. She said her father's not acting strangely."
Well, he's probably
Okay.
dead. Shut the door.
What?
Uh,
But
Probably blown up like those cows you told me about. Shut the door.
well, we don't know. We've got to go rescue that little girl.
No. You have to go
I-
rescue that little girl.
I agree-ish.
The people come to the classroom, but all they're doing is looking through the window.
Can I draw the blinds?
Sure.
I'll do
I'll
that.
kind of motion to Dunbar like cover up the starfish.
Go ahead and do an idea roll, Eric.
Okay. I can use 4 points of luck to
Okay.
get there. Okay.
The people over by the tree that had come in this direction, the only way they would have known something was over here is the smell. You think they're following the smell.
Okay. So I'll kind of look at my companions and go, they probably all know that we're here from a mile away. They can probably smell this terrible rotten odor.
Or they're going to the tree where it's coming from. That same odor was out by the tree. We have to get to that tree before it's destroyed.
Well, are they doing anything
the
to the
tree?
tree?
I mean, somebody's been doing a lot to that tree.
Dunbar, you look over at the people. There's now more people by the tree. A couple of people are trying to climb the tree. It's a big tree. There's lots of branches, though.
Well,
Some
I'm
of the
thinking.
branches looked like they were broken, if you recall.
I'm thinking let them do what they want to the tree at this point. Like I'm thinking about that we've got, a huge scientific discovery on this table. We need
That
to
tree is a huge scientific discovery as well.
Well, we
Right.
know we know now what we might think is the cause of whatever happened to the tree. We're closer to the center of it with the starfish.
Oh, biologists always thinking their stuff is the best.
But he does have a point. If this item was the cause of the cows and the tree to mutate, whatever we have here is the source. If we could secure this and get out of town and bring it back to Miskatonic, we might rewrite history here. So
as you may have noticed, I don't think we're just gonna walk out of here casually. They clearly know that we're in possession of this stuff. They keep wandering up here.
Is there a sewer drain here, or do you have sewage in the town that we could escape out of here with this?
They have cesspool. They have cesspools. They don't have. I mean, not cesspools, but septic systems. They don't have sewer.
Are they surrounding us, these people, or are they coming from one direction?
Just a couple of them have wandered over here. Dunbar, you notice that the two that have climbed up into the tree, they seem to have found something way up in the tree that they're pulling out of the tree and lowering down to the others.
I think
this is absolutely.
I think I might know what happened to the rest of this creature.
What happened?
In the tree.
It's in the tree.
Look, we gotta dispose of this, whatever these people, whatever they are, or whatever's happening with them. I'm getting sick and tired of this craziness. We're here to do scientific exploration, and they're just being wingnuts. Sheriff, get control of your damn town.
He says, well, I don't know what's going on. And Margaret is just like foaming at the mouth trying to get to that starfish thing.
I'll say, well, maybe Hudson's right. Maybe we can try and hide whatever we can in vials, or, try and prevent as much of the odor from escaping as we can, and just try and get out of here.
Here's my concern. If this spreads as it did through those cattle, and it could spread beyond, wherever we take this, and if it's highly contagious, will follow us wherever we take it.
Yes. That's been my whole thing this whole time.
Well, I think we've already been exposed to whatever this substance is.
But the people at Miskatonic have not. And these people, if we don't contain this threat, we need to call the CDC.
What's that?
Does that exist right now?
What is that?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
call the
CDC
government.
was something that was like 40s or 50s.
We need to call Coolidge.
We have about 48 hours at best. If that affected everything within 48 hours, we have 48 hours to figure out what to do with this.
It's the CCC.
Well, gentlemen, we've got a choice to make here. It looks like things are quickly ramping up. We either abandon this and head to safety and leave the town to itself and the sheriff to do his job, or we secure the discovery and try and get it back to Miskatonic to fight our way out if needed.
We have to contain the threat. These people are a threat. If they're imbibing this and it's contagious and they escape this city, we have a major problem. These people need to be put in quarantine. This whole town needs to be put in quarantine.
And although it's not my job, there is a little girl that's in danger right now, too.
What Hudson said. And I was going to go with the sheriff.
But what do you propose we do to quarantine the town?
Well, you probably don't want to know what I think we should do. We should get rid of the evil.
I've seen the inside of the sheriff's office. He only has one jail cell. I don't think we can put the entire town in one jail cell.
The sheriff goes over to the windows where the people are staying. He says, now you people go on home. You get out of here now. You hear me? Like this.
Effective.
And they react to it, and they sort of walk away, and you see them heading back towards the tree. And a few of them stop and sort of look around on the ground for a second, and then they start to turn around and head back towards the classroom again.
You're going to have to put them down.
I don't want to kill
talking about putting them down.
They're a threat. They could spread this to other people in this city.
I think wherever this
people down
object is a threat.
Go ahead and do a spot hidden. You guys are kind of looking around. You're looking out the window.
36.
27 out of 70, which is a hard success.
For those of you who succeed, you've seen that the people have pulled they've pulled whatever it is out of the tree, and they've got it on the ground near the base of the tree. And as you're looking at the ones who are standing next to it, you see a couple of them lean over and start eating it.
Oh.
They need to stop that before they explode in 48 hours.
Sanity roll?
Sanity roll.
Oh, joy.
But do we really know what the effects are on humans? We know what it is on bovines.
22.
It's a fail.
Odd 8, so I finally passed.
1d4, 1d6. 1d4 if you made it, 1d6 if you didn't.
Ooh, 3 points.
That's 4 points for me.
Okay.
I'm losing it.
You're
Losing it, Jerry.
horrified.
That's another 4 off of me.
Did anybody get 5 or more? Nope.
3.
Lucky.
Guys, I think we're actually now actively in danger.
I agree with Dunbar on this one.
You don't say.
I've been saying we've been in active danger since the starfish.
But you're
Just
insane.
saying.
I'll start to actively back up, and I'll kind of stutter similar to what Marcus was doing earlier, and just go, I don't like this anymore. I think it's time to go. I think we need to go.
Now the starfish, is it spongy or is it rigid?
It's soft and pliable, but it's almost impossible to cut the skin of it.
But I could bend it.
Yeah, it's like leathery.
I want to bend it and wrap it in a towel and then maybe put a wet towel around it, maybe to keep the smell in, throw it in a backpack.
Okay, you don't really have any wet towels or anything in this classroom.
I thought there might have been like curtains.
But we have the sack that we brought it in.
Yeah, we do have the rucksack.
I have a backpack with me.
Is anyone at all else interested to see how this develops in Margaret?
No.
In a laboratory setting, correct, but right now, no.
Well, at this point in Margaret, whoever's closest to her, she is growling and snapping at them as if she wanted to eat them.
I wonder if this is almost like a rabies type.
It appears to be rabid.
I mean, they're eating the thing off the tree out there.
Yeah, we're not equipped to deal with this.
It's a rabid dog.
Anybody have any, like, grab a leg of a table if you don't have a weapon, and let's try and make it to the car.
The contagion. Is anyone else concerned about this spreading? Like, they can eat a starfish and gather this, and they're trying to eat other people or bite at other people, is anyone else concerned that infection could spread? Like, if the sheriff is now infected with this?
Ooh.
Is it transmutable through saliva?
Well, I think we need to call the authorities.
He's right here.
Which we are not in, and he is also not equipped to.
I'm pretty panicked at this point, so maybe I'm overreacting, but I'll say, look, guys, I don't know if we can save this town. We either need to leave or we need to do what Hudson said and start to arm ourselves. I know the sheriff's got weapons over in the jail cell over there, and we need to do something.
Let's get over there and get weaponized. I think we need to stand our ground and make sure this doesn't spread further.
But what about the girl?
I agree.
She's crazy too. This whole town is crazy.
Okay, so I'll grab the sack with the starfish in it, and we'll kind of make a way to the sheriff's office and say we need weapons.
All right. I think so too.
Are we bringing Margaret with us, by the way, putting her in the cell?
No, we're going to leave Margaret here.
Yes, please leave Margaret.
At this point, he can't even get near Margaret without her trying to bite him.
Perhaps we should contain the sheriff for now, too.
Well, the sheriff's not trying to bite you.
Yet.
Let's,
He didn't at first either.
I've got quite a bit of medicine. When we get over to the jailhouse, I'll take a look at his wound.
All right. So you gather up what you can, and you're going to make a run for the sheriff's office. All right.
I mean, do we have to run? Are they running, these people?
I assumed. Okay, you see, what are you going to do? Walk slowly?
No, I'm just curious. It doesn't matter.
We're gonna stroll over there.
We're going to saunter.
We're going to have a rumble. It's just
All right.
Jets.
You're a jet all the way.
All right.
I realize I haven't yet had a sandwich, so I'm gonna.
So you gather your stuff up, and just as you open the door and go out, and those other people are over there, somebody had come around the other side of the building, and they're standing there looking at you. They don't make a move, but they say, "We have to get the pieces." And the sheriff sort of pushes him out of the way, and you guys make a run for it for the sheriff's office. All right. Without much trouble, you get there, but do a spot hidden roll for me.
94.
20.
I'm blind.
33.
100.
Ooh.
You fell on your face.
Oh yeah, I should make you your trip for that one. Hudson, as you're running, you're nervous about those people over by the tree, and you look over there, and about this time, somebody else has started wandering towards the tree, and looks like a young woman, maybe in her 20s. And she starts to walk over there the same way the other ones did. But the three people now who are eating this thing suddenly look up at her, and like panthers, they leap onto her, and she starts screaming, and they start tearing her limb from limb and eating her. So you can do a sanity roll.
Boy, that's one spot hidden check I did not want to make.
44. All
Is
these
that a pass?
doubles. Yes, it is.
All right, so 1d3, 1d2.
2 points.
All right, but you suddenly start running twice as fast as everyone else.
And I kind of let out a little yell. I try and contain it, but I'm like, "Gah!"
And that scares the crap out of all of you when he starts yelling, and you don't even know why. But
they ate her. They just ate her.
God, why'd you have to say something like that?
all right, so you get to the sheriff's office and you go inside, and he closes the door and locks it. And he's like, "What, guys? What the hell is going on? What is all this about?"
Babies.
They're going crazy out there, attacking each other. We need weapons.
I don't know. This is not how all this is supposed to work.
Do you all know how to fire a weapon?
No.
Not close.
We're PhD students.
For God's sakes.
Jesus Christ!
I just slip on a couple of brass knuckles.
And he, we don't have brass knuckles.
Yeah,
He goes over and he
It's
locks
in my equipment.
the shotgun case. He says, "None of you ever gone hunting?"
I can hunt.
And he pulls out the shotgun and he tosses it to you, Dunbar.
I have a hatchet.
He says, "Well, I'd prefer it if you didn't let them get that close to you. But whatever the hell's going on, whatever, these are townsfolk. These are all people I know and love and care about. And now all of a sudden they're eating one another." And he tosses a couple of more shotguns out to you. And he's like, "You just point them and pull the trigger."
Yeah, there won't be a town left at this rate.
By this time, the sun is going down. It is getting dark.
Oh God.
What are your plans?
Get out of town.
Observe.
That's
the
not much of
sheriff.
a plan. That's an objective.
I'm observing the sheriff and to see if there's any changes in his disposition or demeanor.
Sheriff seems fine. He's worried. He's taking sanity hits too.
Any issue with like the wound area that's different or no?
No.
Yep.
Well, we can. How far away is Lionel's
he was-
car?
Lionel's car is over just down the street, maybe 50 feet, but it's in the direction of the tree.
We can't leave this place.
What about the sheriff's vehicle?
Sheriff's vehicle is parked around the other side. You could probably get to that without much trouble. It's only a 3. I mean, I guess you could all crowd into the back seat.
I think we should stay.
You think we should stay in Cannibal Town?
I think we need to restrain this from spreading.
How? You got bombs?
Yeah, there's only 5 of us in a whole town.
Yeah, but 40 people constituted about a third of the population.
How big is the jail cell?
You know, it's like a small room, maybe 7 by 5. There's a cot.
Worst case scenario, we could all go inside and lock ourselves in. Worst case scenario.
It's true.
I'm not liking any of this.
Is there more ammunition here that we could gather and assemble?
There's plenty of ammunition, yeah.
Perhaps we should just put some in the cell, just in case.
Yeah, if we lock ourselves in a jail cell, we're just sitting ducks. They could burn the building down.
And we got a starfish with us.
I was just saying, if we get swarmed and there's 40 people breaking through the door, that's all I'm saying. We're break glass in case of emergency.
Guys, Hudson is very smart. You should listen to him.
They keep saying they want the pieces. They can clearly smell this thing out. What's in the sack is what our problem is. That's what they're after.
But that's also what we're after. Do you know what sort of groundbreaking information this could give us? What
sort of how much I like to live?
Do you know what sort of fame this could propel us to?
Do you know how much I like to live?
Well, you're talking about Lionel containing the contagion. If there actually is a contagion and we don't get out of here with some kind of samples, this could also be the way to stop a contagion.
That was my line of thinking. If we could get this to the right hands, maybe the cure is within the infection itself. It just needs to be slowed down.
There's some reason to believe that these people aren't just, until later stages, not just completely animalistic. They still have sentient thought, which means they still can do things like operate vehicles, and they can move very quickly.
And it's a possibility that in 48 hours or less, they're going to explode.
How long have we been in town, by the way?
You got here about 11 a.m. It's now about 5 p.m.
Yeah, and Margaret didn't seem very sentient.
There's still light in the sky, but it's getting darker.
So if we are infected, we have about a day and a half to figure something out.
Everyone, I'd like you to just take a second and look at this sheriff. Okay? Say we leave. He doesn't leave. You're afraid of dying. Are you not afraid of his death? Are you not afraid of the death of the rest of the people?
Come with us?
Yeah,
he's not going to abandon his town. Really?
Who says he can't come with us to Arkham?
Really?
I don't need the cannibals to eat me.
Oh, God.
There's also the matter of that little girl that's somewhere out there in danger.
That keeps gnawing on the back of my head.
Well, what you guys say, they're eating this, whatever this shit is. Says, can we assume that the Benson farm has some of it too?
Well, we know the Benson farm has some of it because it's where we found the starfish and dead
That
cows.
was an O'Neill farm.
And has anybody else noticed it's strange, the fact that we can't cut into it with our scalpels, but they can just bite into it with their teeth?
Well, human bite force can actually reach pretty high when adrenaline is possibly pumping.
It seems what they're trying to get at is the sap. It's the purple substance.
Because she took a whole handful of that stuff and just pretty much just drank it.
Sorry.
Go for it.
If the sheriff can take one of us in his car, get to our vehicle, and drive it back here, we can get in and go to the farm to help the little girl.
Not to mention, I have a hypothesis that that's where all this started.
That could very well be.
I think we hop in the car and we drive as fast as we can out to the O'Neill farm.
I agree with Eric.
The O'Neill farm? Where the...
Is that where the little girl was, or was the girl Benson?
Girl's
Where the
Benson.
girl is.
The girl was Benson. Okay.
Yeah,
So we want to leave the safety of this jail and go outside to a farm where we don't have any idea what's happening and avoid seeing the development of any of this.
We do have shotguns now.
Who said science?
We don't know how to shoot.
So, as you guys are in here, is anybody looking out the windows?
Yeah.
Obsessively.
All right, Marcus. You notice 2 or 3 people coming down the street, and they aren't really coming towards you guys. They're not heading towards the tree, but they're definitely looking around the ground as they're walking, like they're hunting for something.
That's precisely what they were doing earlier.
We got more people looking around on the ground out here.
Lionel, do you think that's the early stages of infection? Is that behavior?
That's what we saw earlier. Everyone doing that and then suddenly going knucking futz every time they take a drink of sap.
Maybe the purple sap has some type of addictive quality to it, like a instantaneously addictive drug.
That might be. That's a very good assessment.
Look, I gave my word to the professor that I would get this done and research this and fully understand what's happening. And right now we don't fully understand what's happening. I'm not leaving till we have a good idea of what's happening.
Well, we did research. We came out to see a tree, not to fight off a town of cannibals. Rabid cannibals.
All right, so what's your move?
I don't think we could stay here.
Yeah, the longer we wait here, the more attention we're drawing to ourselves. Let's try and get to the vehicles and get out to that farm. Maybe we could help the little girl and see if that's where this all started.
Look, fine, I'll go with you guys, but can I at least make a phone call to the professor to let him know what's going on?
Is there a phone here?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. Somebody should know what's happening here.
Please let somebody know. This is bad.
We could call the police, and then I just stare at the sheriff. But I pick up the phone and I dial the professor.
Okay, you dial his office. No answer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he usually goes home at about this hour.
Is it impossible that grad students might have his home number?
You don't have his home number.
Yes. Okay. Fine. Is there anybody else we could notify, guys? Do you have family you want to know?
The authorities in a major town.
We could call the county sheriff. Is this the county sheriff or just this town constable?
Just the town constable.
We could call the county.
You could possibly call Worcester and get their authorities there. They're not that far, are they?
30 miles.
It would take them a bit to respond, but yeah, they could be here.
I'm going to call the county and then I'll call Worcester.
Okay. It's pronounced Worcester.
Worcester. It's like Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire.
That actually.
And since you're all Massachusetts people, you should know that, but that's okay. Took me forever to learn all the names when I was there. All right. You make a call and you get a hold of the Worcester sheriff's office or whatever it is. And what do you say?
I say, this is Mr. Lionel Addison. I'm here with a group of individuals, including Sheriff. What was your name?
Sheriff
Steve.
Sheriff Claude Penchant.
Sheriff Penchant. I believe, judging by the weapons he's given us, that we've now been deputized. There is a mass murder happening around this town, and we need to get people here stat to help us.
Let me talk to the sheriff. Sheriff gets on the phone. He says, well, there's something really weird going on here. We don't know if it's some kind of a disease or whatever, but the people are all insane, crazy. killing each other in our
That's
town.
happening here. What are you guys doing about it?
You need to get here and come armed and realize that there's some weird shit going on here. Might be some kind of disease.
Tell them it might be rabid. Don't let them bite you.
It's rabid.
They're acting like they're rabid.
Under no circumstances let them get access to anything that looks like a star or anything that's oozing purple liquid.
I ain't going to tell them that. They're going to think I'm crazy. They're going to think I'm kids playing a prank on them.
We need to do something to stop these people from killing more people. So act with whatever prejudice you need to.
Well, he said they some of them know me, so they said they're going to send some people out here.
Do we have an ETA?
As soon as they can get here.
Oh, lovely.
Within the hour.
Well, they
okay, that's better.
They can handle it then when they get there, which means we don't have to stay.
I'm gonna open my journal and I want to start documenting this. So if worst case scenario happens and the only thing left is the note, people might have a chance.
Or it gets published in Weird Tales.
Good idea. Make sure you include all of our names.
Yep.
Everybody do a listen roll.
Are we at a penalty die for all of us talking constantly?
No.
I failed.
Ooh, I definitely failed. 98.
96.
Oh, joy.
Did anybody pass?
We're all deaf and blind.
I would like to push my roll. No? Can I push?
Push a listen roll. You can push your listen roll.
Like there's a lot going on, so I'm trying to split my attention as much as I can.
But there's going to be something awful if you. Yeah,
I think there's going to be something awful if I don't. So
if you fail, you get tinnitus.
Got a 42. Let's see my listeners. Guys, I got a 42 out of 20.
So you really failed it again.
I sure did.
You have tinnitus.
Work with that, Mr. Storyteller Keeper.
You suddenly get this high piercing screechy noise inside your ear. At first you think that it's tinnitus, but it's much worse than that. It's almost as if there's something in your head trying to get its way out. So it's like you start to get a blistering headache.
You okay?
I hope he's okay. I don't hear him.
What's wrong with him?
He's muted.
I sit down on a chair and hold my head in my hand, and as you guys are talking, I'm like, shh.
What?
What's wrong with you?
Oh.
You haven't had anything to drink. Why are you acting like you have a hangover?
At this point, somebody comes up to the window in the sheriff's office and puts themselves up against the window like this. And they say, you hear them talking, and they're saying, we have to get the pieces. Someone's coming to pick up the pieces.
Guys,
we need to get the pieces.
Who's coming to pick it up?
Who's coming to pick the pieces up?
Someone's coming to pick up the pieces. We got to gather them together. Somebody's coming.
Cool, we'll help you. Where do we need to bring them?
That's all they keep repeating.
Is there a clear line? Is there a clear path to the car?
Well, now you got to go out past this person who's there and the couple of people in the street.
Okay. Guys, we can't stay here any longer. We're sitting ducks in this place. So unless we want to barricade ourselves in, I think we got to move.
So I'm going to give the bag to Hudson.
Okay.
And then let's go. And then I'll be ready to shoot if needed.
Okay.
Make our way to the car.
So Dunbar, myself, Marcus, do you have a gun?
I have one, but I've never shot one before.
I guess we're gonna make our way out the front door and make our way to the car.
Okay.
I have my hatchet and my knife in my hand. I don't have any weapon skill. I mean, any firearm skill.
Okay.
You protect the samples.
Copy.
Well, actually, if you look at your thing, everybody has at least like 25%. You can point
Right.
the trigger.
Yeah, it's just I didn't put any points in it, so I never shot it before.
Right.
All right. All right. So you make it outside, and the people who are nearby, you can tell when they smell the thing, they start moving towards you, and they're like, oh, we have to gather the pieces together because it's coming to get them. It's coming.
I'm got my head in my hand and I have my shotgun in my other hand. I'm like, get out of the way! Leave us alone. Do not be part of this.
Okay. They're not listening to you.
If they approach me, I'm just gonna shoot.
Well, they're not. They're still hanging back a little bit. As you get to the vehicle, however, the sheriff's car, you notice down the street, from around behind a house or something, a couple of people are now running in your direction, and they look crazed.
Get in the vehicle as quickly
Everyone
as
get in the
possible.
car.
Yeah, I'll kind of hold the shotgun at the ready, yell, get back, while everybody else gets in the car.
Okay, the sheriff's like, get in the car, and he's like holding up the shotgun. He's saying, you folks stay back. You folks stay back.
I get in.
We all hop in.
I'm getting in.
And just as you all get in and you close the doors, these two people are getting pretty close. So the sheriff fires a warning shot over their heads, and they don't stop. He tries to pull around quickly and pull himself into the car, and they're literally clawing at the windows trying to get to you. And you can see that they've got purple stuff in their mouth, and they're almost like they're damn people are trying to eat their way through the window to get to you.
Drive.
And he's trying to get the key going. Oh shit! I left the key inside the no.
Oh,
God.
And then one of them knocks on the door and like jingles the keys.
Any of you know how to hotwire a car?
Pretty sure Hudson knows how to hotwire this thing.
That's right.
He gets the car going, and at first he hesitates because there's a couple of them now in front of the car, but he goes ahead and pushes forward, and the people fall, and all of you can do a spot hidden at this point.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to take a penalty die on that because of my headache.
16 out of 70.
61.
37.
Can't hit a roll to save my life.
It's Marcus.
71 out of 36.
Marcus.
Yes.
Good old Marcus and his OCD and his crazy.
I pay too much attention to shit.
I'm going to have you roll a sanity roll first, and then I'll explain why.
Alrighty. Why did you have me roll? 81. Which means I failed miserably.
Do a 1d10.
Nine.
All right. As you guys are all in the car, Marcus is looking out the back windshield. And as he's doing this, he suddenly begins screaming uncontrollably and trying to climb into the front seat. As he's looking back, those of you who look back, what you see is coming down the street is something the size of a bus. It's shapeless. It's like a gigantic amoeba. It's got tentacles reaching out. People are just standing in the street, not running from it, and it's just mowing them down. And for a moment, you can sort of see their bodies inside of the thing, and then they sort of disintegrate. You can all do sanity rolls now too.
$96.
That's a 90 for me.
58 out of 45.
You
those of
go
got it.
crazy.
Those of you in the 90s, you do a roll 1d10 too.
Ah.
If you pass,
If you
9.
pass, just do a 1d4.
9.
4 more.
Okay. So when you see it, you do more than 5 points of damage. You've freaking lost your mind. You're screaming, and you can do a luck roll. If you pass the luck roll, you don't get out of the car and run.
Three sanity loss.
But if you fail, you get out of the car and run.
Thank goodness I have a high.
I made my luck.
Oh shit!
So if we took more than 5, you want to select roll, or if we took any, make a luck roll.
If you took more than 5, yeah,
Okay.
do a luck roll.
So
I
I'm still in the car.
I have an 80 luck. I rolled 82.
Okay. And Marcus has rolled down the window, climbed out of the car, and he's running away from this thing that's coming.
Oh god!
I'll be like, Marcus, come back.
There's no chance of
Fuck
anybody
you.
grabbing him by the pants? Or?
No, you're all out of your minds. The sheriff is now swerving all over the road because you guys are screaming and pushing up against him, and he slams on the brakes, and the car comes to a skidding halt, and this thing is barreling down on you. Those of you who passed your sanity loss or didn't do more than 5, what are you doing?
We're actively driving away from this thing, right?
Yeah, he's just slammed on the brakes though. So you're
Oh, the officer slammed on the brakes?
yeah, because you guys all started screaming and crawling all over him.
Go!
Yeah, drive.
Son of a bitch, go!
yeah,
Okay, he looks back and sees something coming, so he hits the gas.
I was going to have to call shotgun.
Shotgun.
yeah. Can we maybe shoot out the back window?
Sure. You'll all go deaf, but sure.
Yeah, I don't think we're in the state.
Tonight is all around.
Marcus is currently doing this down the street, trying to go. Not going to run in a straight line because it can get you. He can.
It's like an alligator.
Going in a straight line. So
Serpentine.
He's like, do I hold up my arms to look bigger than it? Do I lay down? I don't know.
well, it's the size of a city bus. So.
I'm gonna yell at Hudson. I'm gonna yell at Hudson. Throw the tentacle out the back, or the starfish, or whatever.
I was just going to ask, should I throw this out the back window?
Yes.
Yeah. Throw it out the back.
I mean, how much worse could this get? Just throw it at it.
All right.
You gave
All
it
right.
its piece back.
So you shoot out the back window and you throw the thing out the back window. And when you do, you see the thing come forward.
Wait, do we still have samples?
Throw it
No.
out. I mean, everything we have, throw out the back window.
That's good. Good job, Hudson.
You see Marcus in the street running, and the thing catches up to him and just barrels over him. And for a moment, you see Marcus going, and then he dissolves into it. Where you drop the thing in the road, you see the thing come to a halt and absorb it. And for a moment, it sort of hesitates there as your car is pulling away. But then it starts back towards you.
Now we lost the sample. Good job, guys.
We're a little short on options.
Drive. How fast can you go? Go.
I think
Okay.
cars max out at what, 20 here?
Yeah, and the roads are pretty bad. I'm just going to do one roll to see if the sheriff crashes the car along the way. Yeah, he did pretty good. I will say that he manages to get away. But do you still have samples in your pockets?
Yeah, I had one glass vial in my. But if it thing keeps coming at us, I'm gonna throw it out the back window.
No, you
Okay.
I
can't.
am samples now.
It's not stopping. It's coming after you. So if in fact you throw your samples out the window, it stops pursuing you.
We promised the professor. We made our oath. Our
We can
word.
go back. There's got to be blood after.
You want to go
Well, I'm not even
back?
thinking. Not today.
Well, then let me ask you the aftermath. What do you do in general after that? Now, you're all going to need psych problems, and Marcus is gone. You all saw him consumed by the thing, so you're going to need some serious psychological counseling. And you're going to have to explain what you did with Marcus, because 5 people left, 4 people came back.
We've got some splaining to do.
Well,
But as
the
far
authorities, the authorities were responding, right? So surely they're going to come up on this scene, or some version of this scene.
When the
I think we should just beeline it to that other town and take our chances.
as long as you have no samples, you escape. So we'll assume you escape because you have no samples. When the authorities from Worcester arrive, they find a great deal of damage has been done in the town, but they don't find any people that were involved. The tree is gone. A large portion of the Benson barn is gone. Areas of the field where the damage was done are gone. The cows are gone. Anything that had anything at all to do with that substance or that starfish thing is gone. Scoured clean off the earth. There is not a drop of anything left, not blood, not flesh, nothing. And that's the end of our story. So, what happened? What happened was Robert Goddard, that's historical. He was setting off the first liquid oxygen rockets from the town of Auburn, which is right next to Worcester. And there was no guidance system on these things. It was basically fireworks is what he was setting off. But one of them flew up into the air, and it crashed into an elder thing that was flying over Rutland at that time, observing the people. And when it crashed into it, it cut it up into three or four pieces. One piece landed in the field where you were. One landed up in the tree. One landed in the barnyard on the Benson farm. You never got to the Benson farm. Becky was hiding in the woods because her father had murdered his wife and other children and eaten them because he had eaten part of the elder thing. You would have found its torso with the wings, which would have given you a hint that the thing was a flying creature. And ultimately, it was on a scientific mission studying us. And as soon as it was killed, a signal went out to their base, wherever it is, and they sent a Shoggoth to clean up the mess. And so the Shoggoth cleaned up the mess at the end, and it ate everything that had touched the stuff. I guess there was kind of spores that were released when it was killed, and the spores infected the people, and the people had a compulsion to gather all the pieces together so the Shoggoth could have them at the end, but they also ate them. So that's the story. How'd you like it?
That was great.
So awesome.
Enjoyed the heck out of it.
Very cool.
So good.
A really fun time.
I didn't expect you guys to hold up in the police station, but it made sense. It made total sense for your situation.
Well, I thought that's why you pointed it out. I thought you were dropping me a hint that we were supposed to arm ourselves, and so I was like, "Oh, we got to head back there."
Well, the reason why you go to the sheriff's office in the story is so that Becky Benson can call and say there's something going wrong at the farm, and maybe you'll head in that direction. but
Maybe.
you guys really wanted to stay and study, so I had to modify it a little bit.
Yeah, sorry if that was a little disruptive. It's just
That's cool.
The trait for my character said his word is his bond, his loyalty will never waver, and he gave his word to the professor. So
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
takes
really,
a older thing to make it waver, I guess.
it's classic like zombie town storyline. The argument of like, what do we do to survive versus like any kind of moral duty to stop what's happening is
Right.
That's
Right.
That's where the gold and
of course, them biting the sheriff, that didn't do anything to the sheriff.
That's what I was just going to ask. Yeah.
But had Margaret gotten loose, she would have killed you all and eaten you if she could have, because by that time she was completely insane.
What transmuted it? What was causing the people to turn that didn't eat or initially started it?
What first caused them to look for the pieces was spores in the air, which had dispersed by the time you guys had arrived, but they were already infected. And then what caused them to go cannibalistic was eating a piece of the elder thing. So when she consumed the blood or whatever it is, that drove her insane. What caused the cows to burst was the fact that the cows were eating pieces that they'd found on the ground, and it had a weird biological effect on them.
This is what I was thinking the whole time.
And the tree was just reacting in some weird way too to the fact that it sort of got splattered with bits and pieces of the creature. It was somehow trying to protect itself in a very bizarre way, but it was trying to consume the pieces.
Right.
All so that when the Shoggoth arrived, the Shoggoth would have an easy job of cleaning up everything. So, all right, our players included Jason Melnichuk, Josh Hook, Kurt LeBlanc, Tim Hart, and Jeff Beck, with yours truly as Keeper of the Secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We like reading them. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.